Oh, great. So we have Regent Duckett. Wonderful.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you. Well, good morning, everyone. On this beautiful fall day, we will call the regular meeting of the Tennessee Board of Regents to order. It is Friday, September 24. For our friends in Memphis, I simply want to begin with recognizing the very difficult, tragic situation that has occurred there within the past 24 hours. The shooting at the Kroger in Collierville, Tennessee. I know this is tough news for folks in Shelby County, and obviously this has resounded statewide and nationally. So to Regents Duckett, Powers, and George, our thoughts are with you all as the community heals. This is a tough day, I know. Sanja, I don't believe we have any special guests or media on the line with us today.
No, Vice Chair, we don't. We just have some of the presidents that are in the meeting room with us who will be presenting later.
Excellent. So welcome to our team. And for those who were not with us at committee meetings yesterday, I did want to briefly let the balance of our colleagues know of the addition of our two new regents. Our faculty regent, Ramona Shelton, who comes to us from Motlow State, and our student regent, Clifford Thompson. They have jumped in feet first, and we welcome them and certainly appreciate their participation. And finally, to our other observers who might not have had occasion to be on yesterday, and we will make this official later today, as Sanja leaves us, which is a whole other bittersweet note, we have had the privilege of hiring Mariah Perry to join us, and we'll make it official later today and placing her in the board secretary role. Mariah has been in the state treasurer's office, lives up in Clarksville, has already been of tremendous service to Tennessee, and we know she will continue that service as our board secretary. So we look forward to talking with her a little later in the program. But with that, Secretary Mason, let's make it official. Would you call the roll, dear friend?
Thank you, Madam Chair. As we ask for your participation in today's meeting, if you will answer the two famous questions that we've been asking. If you can hear and speak audibly, and then also if there's anyone else with you in your space or your room. Thank you. So as I call the roll, Governor Lee, Regent Apple.
Here and yes to both questions.
Thank you. Regent Burdine.
Here, yes to both questions.
Thank you, sir. Regent Duckett.
Here and yes to both questions.
Thank you. Regent George.
Here, yes, and yes.
Thank you. And Regent Guild.
Yes and yes.
Thank you, sir. Regent Green.
I'm here and yes to both questions.
Thank you. Regent Hatch.
Here and yes to both questions.
Thank you. Commissioner Hatcher.
Here, yes to both questions.
Thank you. Regent House. Regent Powers.
Good morning, here and yes squared.
Thank you. Regent Reed.
Good morning, yes to both questions.
Good morning to you. Vice Chair Reynolds.
I'm here and yes to both.
Thank you, ma'am. Commissioner Schwinn. Regent Shelton.
Here and yes to both questions.
Thank you. Regent Thompson.
Here and yes to both questions.
Regent Barlin.
Here and yes to both.
Thank you. Regent Wamp.
I'm here and yes to both.
Thank you. And last but not least, Regent White.
Here and yes to both.
Thank you. Madam Chair, you have a quorum.
Excellent, thank you. And Regent Power's answer that yes squared was a typical engineer answer. I thought that was great. Oh.
I just had to break up the monotony a little bit.
I loved it. As you guys recall, since we would typically rather have been on a campus this time of year, and I know we all regret not being at Roane State, particularly on a beautiful fall day. However, given the rising number of COVID cases across the state and the governor's continued state of emergency, we determined a few weeks ago that our meeting would best be held electronically. As you guys know from the number of times we've had to do that, we do need to affirm that it was a necessity for us to meet electronically. So we will entertain a motion and a second to that effect, please.
Move for approval.
Thank you, Regent Burdine. Second?
Second.
Thank you, Tom White. So any discussion? If not, once again.
Emily,
yes.
Emily, my only question would just be, I know we had hoped this event would be, or this meeting would be at Roane State. And obviously we kind of had to make a judgment call in a scary moment. I think, and maybe there's probably people on the call more qualified to speak to it than I am, but I think we're now to the point where Tennessee can kind of cross our fingers and hope that we're on the backside of Delta. We certainly are in Hamilton County. So I was just curious, how are we going to think about going through this same process 3 months from now?
I think the short answer is, and I'll speak for the Chancellor, who, as you guys know, is out for a time this morning in another meeting. I think the short answer is we'll just watch and wait and get the best advice we can as we get closer. We're fortunate that it's not a decision we have to make yet today for December 9.
Yeah.
Regent Duckett, do you have any insight you'd like to share?
The only thing I will add is to your response is that for our system, during the spike of the Delta variant, we had 615 patients in our hospitals. The good thing, in correlation with what Regent Wamp is saying, as of yesterday, system-wide, we were down to 424 patients. So it is beginning to decline.
I'm going to chime in and say we've had more children than we have ever had at Children's Hospital. Very, very sick in ICU. It's hitting kids hard. Knoxville has really struggled, but as far as the hospital environment and children going back to school, it's been terrible.
So no, thank you for chiming in.
I'm happy to go along with us doing this. We talked about it yesterday. We approved this. I think the thing as we approach December that I just want us to be thoughtful and statistically intentional about is that, there are 95 school boards, more, I guess, if you include city school boards across the state that are all meeting in person. And so I think the sooner that we could all gather back together, even if there's a remote option for Regents or others who don't, I would just hope that if the trend stays downward, as Delta did both in India and the UK, and hopefully we're now entering the downward trend here, I think we'd honor the system and our students and our professors and everybody who works in our system if we could get back together as soon as we can. And I would love to think that's December, but I know that it's a tough call. It's always easier to kind of go back in than it is to take meetings like this remote.
Yeah. No, thank you. Thanks to Greg and Danny for their input, and thank you, Weston, as well. And again,
Vice Chair.
Yes.
Vice Chairman, this is Regent Gill. I would like to request that we decide whether or not we're going to be meeting in person as soon as possible. I need plenty of lead time to be able to get on my barber's list and get a haircut and a shave.
I have seen you in this period of time, remember, a couple of times, and it's a great look.
Yes, and I swore you to secrecy, remember?
Uh-oh. Oh, me. I started taking a note. I thought you were going to say something serious, but I guess that is serious.
Vice Chair, I'd also like to echo support for Regent Wamp's comments. I wholeheartedly agree with him. I think we need to be optimistic and plan to meet on December the 9th. In worst case scenario, we have to change our plans, but I think we need to meet.
Thanks.
Appreciate your comments, Regent Wong.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
Let me add an additional comment. If we are ever going to turn the corner on this horrible disease, it's going to require personal responsibility. And when I say personal responsibility, it is people wearing masks and people getting vaccinated. I unfortunately, much to my surprise, met with an individual Wednesday of this week, a young individual. And when I say young, no more than 33, 34. Number one, when he came into my office, he had his mask down below his nose, which is not appropriate, as all of you know. And number two, I always ask people that I meet with if they have been vaccinated. And I quote, his answer was, no. And then I asked, why not? And his response was, I'm waiting. And I wanted to say to him, you're waiting on what? To die? So, yes, I want us back in person, but I want us to do it in a sincere, responsible way.
Well said, as always. Thank you. Thank you. So more to come. Thanks for the candid conversation. It's very helpful. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on the our necessity to meet electronically? If not, Madam Secretary, would you call the roll once again, please?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Regent Apple?
Aye.
Regent Burdine?
Aye.
Regent Duckett?
Aye.
Regent George?
Aye.
Regent Gill?
Aye.
Regent Green?
Aye.
Regent Hatch?
Aye.
Commissioner Hatcher?
Aye.
Regent Powers?
Aye.
Regent Reed?
Aye.
Vice Chair Reynolds?
Aye.
Commissioner Schwinn, have you joined? Regent Thompson?
Aye.
Regent Varlin?
Aye.
Regent Wamp?
Aye.
Regent White?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you very much, everyone. And despite the fact that we couldn't all be together, we had a great meeting yesterday. So thanks for everybody's active participation and tremendous updates from our system team. And with that, we will begin our order of business this morning and take some action on some of the items we worked on yesterday in those committee meetings. First of all, we need to approve our minutes, which you all have seen in advance, from the June 18 meeting. And we also have a set of minutes from our July 27 special called meeting. Brian, may we take these in one vote?
Yes, Vice Chair, that would be fine.
Excellent, thank you. So if there are no questions or additions or corrections to those minutes, we will move for approval.
So moved. Emily.
Thank you.
Second, Danny.
Thank you. Any discussion? If not, all right, everybody, stay close to your mute and unmute button. We're going to call the roll one more time.
Thank you. Regent Apple?
Aye.
Regent Burdine?
Aye.
Regent Duckett?
Aye.
Regent George?
Aye.
Regent Gill?
Aye.
Regent Green?
Aye.
Regent Hatch?
Aye.
Commissioner Hatcher?
Aye.
Regent Powers?
Aye.
Regent Reed?
Aye.
Vice Chair Reynolds,
Aye.
Regent Thompson,
Aye.
Regent Varlin,
Yes.
Regent Wamp,
Aye.
Regent White.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you all. Russ Deaton, we have the Chancellor's report of interim action once again, which was in the board meeting materials. Would you present that, please? And let's see if a member of the board has questions.
Happy to, Vice Chair Reynolds, and thank you. The interim action report, members, was included in your materials that were made available to all board members prior to today's meeting. This report constitutes a record of business transacted by the Office of the Chancellor since the previous quarterly board meeting. And Madam Chair, pending any questions, I recommend the board's approval of the report of interim action.
Thank you. Any questions for Dr. Deaton? If not, once again, we do need a motion to approve the Chancellor's report of interim action.
Moved. Apple.
Thank you, Mary Lou. A second?
Second, it's Tom.
Thank you. Any discussion? If not, Sanja, once again, let's call the roll.
Thank you. Regent Apple,
Could you hear me? Aye.
oh, no, I didn't. Thank you. Regent Burdine,
Aye.
Regent Duckett,
Aye.
Regent George,
Aye.
Regent Gill,
Aye.
Regent Green,
Aye.
Regent Hatch,
Aye.
Commissioner Hatcher,
Aye.
Regent Powers,
Aye.
Regent Reed,
Aye.
Vice Chair Reynolds,
Aye.
Regent Thompson,
Aye.
Regent Varlin,
Aye.
Regent Wamp,
Aye.
Regent White.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Next up, we have our committee reports. Of course, we have 3 reports from yesterday and the 4th from the August 31 audit committee meeting. With that, Regent Burdine, let me call on you to offer your report. Let me first add that we'll hear the 4 reports and then we'll move to a vote to approve all 4 together. So Regent Burdine.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The Workforce Development Committee met in regular session on Thursday, 23 September 2021 to review the following items: an update on Center for Workforce Development Projects, a presentation on meeting industry needs featuring women in manufacturing. Madam Chair, this concludes my report for 23 September 2021 meeting of the Workforce Development Committee.
Excellent. Any questions for Regent Burdine? It was a great meeting. Hearing none, Regent Varlin, External Affairs.
Yes. You know, I am trying to find that information.
You want me to move on while you look?
Yeah, I have the entire report,
Yeah.
but I don't think I'm supposed to do that.
Okay.
Yes, move on. Let me see if I can.
Okay. And Sanja's hearing this, so she'll be on it as well.
Okay.
Mary Lou, are you ready? We'll come
Yes,
to you.
ma'am.
Policies. Thank you.
The Academic Policies and Programs and Student Life Committee met in a public informational session yesterday to review reporting on the following items. Proposed revisions to TBR Policy 2030105, Academic Retention and Readmission for Tennessee Colleges of Applied Technology. Proposed program terminations, modifications, new technical program implementations for TCATs. Institutional mission profiles, strategic plan metrics dashboard, review and consider approval of the Nashville State Community College Strategic Plan, the TBR mission statement, the report on open educational resources, enrollment and graduate report, name, image, and likeness compensation for student athletes. As committee chair, I move that the board approve the report of the September 23rd, 2021 meeting for the Committee on Academic Policies and Programs and Student Life as presented.
Thank you. Once again, an excellent meeting. If there are no questions or comments for Regent Apple, I'd like to call on Regent Hatch from our Audit Committee meeting last month.
Thanks, Vice Chair Reynolds. The Audit Committee met in regular session on August 31, 2021 to review and recommend approval of the following items: federal audit reports, miscellaneous external reviews and internal audit reports, system-wide internal audit updates, fiscal year 2022 internal audit plans, fiscal year 2021 year-end status reports, review of the Audit Committee charter responsibility, and 2A standards and review of internal audits, quality assurance, self-assessments. Madam Chair, this concludes my report of the August 31, 2021 Audit Committee meeting.
Thank you, Regent Hatch. Any comments on audit? Seems like now it was a long time ago. It was only 3 weeks ago. Oh, and finally, Regent Varlin on external affairs.
Yes, I do have that, and I did have that. I just was looking at the wrong thing.
That's okay.
So, sorry about that, Sanja. The report of the Committee on External Affairs meeting on September 23rd, 2021 met in regular session to review the following items. The first item in government relations legislative priorities. These 6 priorities were provided by TBR system leadership and TBR presidents. The Department of Government Relations and the Office of External Affairs will advocate on behalf of TBR to the members of the Tennessee General Assembly. The 112th Tennessee General Assembly legislative session will begin on January 11th, 2022. The second item is a Homeland Security Assessment Update. Was provided by Chief Kane. All institutions have completed a safety and security campus self-assessment based on the principles of crime prevention through environmental design, known as the CPTED. The Tennessee Higher Education Commission, along with the Tennessee Department of Homeland Security, have utilized the assessments to tour the TBR campus and focus on these elements directly related to combating public safety hazards and criminal activity, and identify vulnerabilities that may be exploited and suggest options that may eliminate or reduce these vulnerabilities. Madam Chair, this concludes my report of the September 23rd, 2021 meeting of the External Affairs Committee.
Excellent, thank you. And we're looking forward to hearing from Chief Kane again in just a bit. Just for clarification, in new business, we will act on the other 2 committee meetings from yesterday, Finance and Personnel. You will recall that when their actions relate to fiscal matters, those need to be taken up separately. So we'll be back to those 2 in a bit. But in the meantime, if there are no further questions, we do need to act on these 4 excellent reports, and we do require a motion and a second.
So moved, Hatch.
Thank you, sir.
Varlin, second.
Thank you very much. Any discussion? If not, if Sanja's ready, let's call the roll.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Regent Apple.
Aye.
Regent Burdine.
Aye.
Regent Duckett.
Aye.
Regent George.
Aye.
Regent Gill.
Aye.
Regent Green.
Aye.
Regent Hatch.
Aye.
Commissioner Hatcher.
Aye.
Regent Powers.
Aye.
Regent Reed.
Aye.
Vice Chair Reynolds.
Aye.
Regent Thompson.
Aye.
Regent Varlin.
Aye.
Regent Wamp.
Aye.
Regent White.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you all very much. So, Danny Varlin, we are calling on you for what's always one of my favorite portions of our meeting, and that's to discuss our Regents Reward for Excellence in Philanthropy. And I think we have a record number, perhaps, to present today.
Yes, got three and very much looking forward to this. The first one's going to be from Chattanooga State. And with pleasure, TBR is the College System of Tennessee. The Tennessee Board of Regents is the largest system of higher education in the state and is the primary vehicle for higher education access, with approximately 118 students enrolled each year at our 40 colleges statewide. Since 2003, TBR has been honoring the dedicated philanthropists and corporate partners who graciously donate their time and finances to TBR institutions through our Excellence in Philanthropy Awards. The Tennessee Board of Regents Award for Excellence in Philanthropy is a unique designation. Today, we will acknowledge three recipients nominated by the following community colleges: Chattanooga, Nashville, and Pellissippi. Chattanooga State Community College recognized First Horizon with the highest honor of excellence in philanthropy on July 26, 2021. Here she is smiling. Regent Weston Walt presented the award to Mr. J. Dale, President of First Horizon. And you can see the picture there. First Horizon has provided a generous donation of time and resources and active promotion and support of higher education, exceptional civic responsibility, and leadership in philanthropy and community fundraising. First Horizon has made a difference in the lives of Chattanooga State students and within the broader community. First Horizon entered the Chattanooga market in 1976 and became First Horizon in the fall of 2019 because of a branding change. They currently have 22 locations in Southeast Tennessee. As a donor to Chattanooga State since October 1992, First Horizons and its predecessor, First Tennessee, have contributed over $228,000 to the college. They contributed to the Health Science Capital Campaign in 2009 and established Chattanooga State's first endowed faculty chair, the First Horizon Business Chair of Excellence. To date, 7 awards have been given to distinguished faculty members in Chattanooga State's Business Division. First Horizon continues to be the presenting sponsor and co-host for Chattanooga State's signature fundraising event and Dinner of First. Proceeds from the event fund scholarships for first-generation students. And over the last 8 years, several employees have served on the Dinner of First committee and contributed significantly to the event's success. As a result of their generosity and leadership, more than $532,000 has been raised to fund 197 First in the Family scholarships. First Horizon provided the lead gift for the Tom Ed Wilson First in the Family Scholarship, which is currently endowed at $179,930. We are grateful to honor First Horizon for generous philanthropic commitments which have improved outcomes for Chattanooga State students since 1992. On behalf of the Tennessee Board of Regents, we're proud to recognize First Horizon with the highest honor of excellence in philanthropy. For additional comments, please welcome Chattanooga State Community College President and my friend, Dr. Rebecca Ashford.
Well, good morning, everyone, and thank you so much, Regent Varlin, for those kind remarks about our very important partner, First Horizon. And thank you, Vice Chancellor Reynolds, and to all of our esteemed regents for allowing me to join you this morning for a few moments. As a first-generation college graduate, I am incredibly grateful to the leadership of First Horizon. As Regent Varlin mentioned, they have established and provided the funds and the leadership to enable us to raise funds for our First in the Family Scholarship. I'm really proud to report this morning that because of First Horizon's leadership, right now, 215 students over time have been awarded $2,000 scholarships to enable them to attend college. And of course, all of these students are first-generation college students. We are looking to award 24 more this year for a total of 239 students who will be supported by this scholarship, totaling $478,000 cumulatively. So it is such an honor for me to recognize our partners at First Horizon, and I'm so grateful to Regent Wamp for joining us this summer as we recognize them on campus and in person. It was so great to see people in person and to be together on that day. And so thank you very much for allowing the opportunity to recognize First Horizons with the Regents Award for Philanthropy.
Thank you, President Ashford. Are there any other comments at this time about this award?
Well, I couldn't sit back and not say anything. This just warms my heart. I think I read this, but didn't realize that it would get this type of notification and recognition in today's board meeting. But Jay Dale is one of our great presidents out in Chattanooga. We are just so fortunate that our corporate office believes in giving back. You know, there's a lot of folks that say you live where you work and you work where you live. And First Tennessee, First Horizon really believes that, and we've been doing it for so long. So this just brings a lot of joy. I've already copied this. I'm about to send this out to everybody in the company. So just so excited about what you guys are doing and the connection that you have with Jay and everything that's happening in Chattanooga.
Well, thank you so much, and thank you, First Horizon.
Yes. Janny, may I add one quick thing as well to Yolanda's excellent?
Please do. Please do.
And that is to President Ashford. I think we saw in our clips this week some exciting news about her selection by the Aspen Institute. Do you want to tell us about that, President Ashford?
Well, I'm just incredibly excited and humbled to have been selected among my peers across the nation, one of 25. So that's very exciting to me. I'm honored that I was selected. And the reason I'm so excited about this is to get to work with my peers across the nation and work with the Aspen Institute to better learn how we can better support our students in being successful. Aspen is very data driven, and so we'll be all looking at our data and talking about that and doing more strategizing. And of course, at Chattanooga State, we're all about student success. This year, we've taken on the very ambitious project of, well, actually culture change, shift in the way we offer courses to implement the 7-week semesters, which I'll be excited to share the results of this first semester, probably at the beginning of next year. But anyway, I'm just incredibly proud and humbled to have been selected. Thank you.
No, thank you. Thanks, Regent Farland.
You're welcome, and we all congratulate you, Rebecca. And I do have to add, First Horizon, I'm in Knoxville, and they are unbelievably just always supporting everything. We are so grateful in our neck of the woods for the support they give. They are a wonderful, wonderful across the state, and we're just so blessed by that. So just First Horizon, thank you from all of us that get to see all the love you spread across our state. So I'm going to move on now, and we have an individual that is just amazing. I hope I get to meet this person sometime. She is just incredible. We're going to turn to this, a stellar philanthropist, Miss Nancy Eisenbrandt. This award presentation took place virtually last month on August 19th and was presented by Regent Joy Hatch to Miss Nancy Eisenbrandt. She was nominated by Nashville State Community College. Though Miss Nancy Eisenbrandt's 40-plus year career with the Nashville Chamber of Commerce, she is considered a trailblazer in connecting workforce development and education. She has spent most of her career creating innovative programs and initiatives to build the region's economic prosperity. Nancy has served on the National State Community College Foundation Board trustees since 2002, and throughout her tenure, she has served on various committees and held several officer positions. Nancy's currently serving her second term as the vice chair of the board and sits on the board engagement committee. She plays a vital role in the board prospect and recruitment efforts. Nancy was also a member of the 2017 Nashville State Community College Presidential Search Committee. Before joining the foundation board, Nancy was directly involved in the work to transition Nashville State Technical Institute into a community college. In addition to her service at Nashville State, Nancy sits on the advisory board at TCAT Nashville and is on the board of the National Association of Workforce Boards. In August 2020, Nancy transitioned into a part-time consultant role with the Chamber, but continues to work on building pathways to post-secondary opportunities in high-growth, high-demand sectors. Currently, she's working with Columbia State Community College on building out competency-based certificates embedded in their IT program as part of a J.P. Morgan Chase grant. While Nancy's personal gifts to the foundation are significant, her involvement in the work that has led to transformative investments in both Nashville State and the Middle Tennessee area is unmatched. As a direct result of Nancy's involvement in this work, in 2017, Nashville was selected as one of the 17 communities to be designated as a talent hub by the Lumina Foundation. This resulted in $350,000 in grant funding to establish Reconnect Cafes and Reconnect Navigator positions at 2 Nashville State campus locations to better meet the needs of adult students, with the ultimate goal of increasing the numbers of people in cities across the country with education and training beyond high school. And in October 2020, Nashville was selected as one of the 6 cities to receive the J.P. Morgan Chase New Skills Ready Grant, a $7 million investment in the future of work in Nashville. This initiative will support the seamless transition of underrepresented students from Metro Nashville Public Schools into Nashville State to earn a credential or degree and enter a high-wage, high-demand career. Nancy is thoughtful and strategic, and where she lends her focus, great things happen. She has a systems-centered mind and has devoted much of her career to ensuring systems work to the benefit of all, not just the few. Through her position at the Nashville Chamber of Commerce, Nancy has seized the opportunity to allow the Chamber to serve as the backbone organization in many collaborative efforts that connected education and workforce. Often working closely with representatives from both TBR and THEC, she is recognized as a thought leader and innovator by national peers and funders. She has served as a mentor to many of this area who have now gone on to become trailblazers themselves. From the leadership and hard work of Nancy Eisenbrandt, Nashville State has benefited enormously as both a college and a college system from her time, talent, and treasure. On behalf of the Tennessee Board of Regents, we are proud to recognize Nancy Eisenbrandt with the highest honor of excellence in philanthropy. And now I'd like to ask Nashville State Community College President, Dr. Sanja Jackson, for additional comments.
Thank you, Regent Garland. To list all that Nancy has contributed in time, talent, and resources to Nashville State, we would need a full day. Nancy is truly a trailblazer whose life works reflects the strategic innovator leader that she really is, and her commitment to making meaningful system changes. While I knew of Nancy prior to joining Nashville State, I can now say that Nancy is more than a board member or colleague. She is my thought partner, a very strong supporter of me personally and the college, and I am grateful to call her my friend. Thank you for recognizing her contributions to Nashville State, our system, and the region with this honor. Thank you.
At this time, I would like to call on anybody else who'd like to make a comment, and I would imagine Joey Hatch would be one of those.
I would love to jump in. I met Nancy in 2003 on a chamber mission trip to Minneapolis. I sat next to her on a bus and told her my long, sad Nashville State story. And she said, "Hey, I'm on the foundation board. You need to join that board." So I did. So I've known her 18 years. She's become a dear friend. I'm embarrassed to say I did not really understand and realize the importance of workforce development, and I've learned so much from her. She's the workforce development czar in Middle Tennessee, and is so good at that. And she's like a kind of an assassin. With the way she approaches it, it's serious. She can have fun with it, but boy, does she know it, and she's so good at it. She came to this city in the middle 70s from Illinois, and she's almost like a Nashville native now. She's been here so long, and we're so proud of her. Just millions and millions of dollars she's helped funnel our way. And I'm not sure Dr. Jackson knows this, but right after I joined the board in 2017, at a luncheon out in Williamson County, Nancy said, I want to introduce you to a lady that I think could be the next president at Nashville State Community College, and that was Shauna Jackson. So wow. She's good at helping identify and recruit talent as well. So cheers to Nancy. Great job.
Anyone else? Well, when I read about her, and this was a while back before the awards went out, and I actually had thought, wow, I'd love to go to this presentation just to meet this woman. We are so blessed to have her on our side. She's amazing. I just was really impressed. So thank you, Joy, for recognizing her, and thank you to Nancy for being on our team. Okay, last but not least, Pellissippi State Community College bestows the most honored award to Mr. Richard B. Ray on August 17th, presented by yours truly, and he is a phenomenal human. It was fitting that we honored Rich during the ribbon-cutting ceremony for the Bill Haslam Center for Math and Science. Pellissippi State need for additional space for core required classes can be attributed to the success of Tennessee Promise and Tennessee Achieves. In 2009, along with Randy Boyd, Bill Haslam, Mike Ragsdale, who's former mayor of Knoxville, and Tim Williams, Rich Ray founded Knox Achieves, the precursor to Tennessee Achieves. Rich served as a founding board member for 12 years and generously contributed his time, treasure, and talent. Rich is one of only 4 Tennessee Achieves volunteers across the state of Tennessee who has served as a mentor every single year. Over the past 12 years, Rich has mentored over 60 students. He volunteers every year to teach budgeting at Pellissippi State's Bridge program. The impact of Tennessee Achieves is almost difficult to fathom. What began as an organization with 1 employee and an operating budget of $60,000 has grown in just over a decade to 27 full-time employees across the state with an annual operating budget of $2.3 million. Rich Ray helped found an organization that has served nearly 450,000 high school seniors, directly enrolled 108,000 students into college, and recruited 42,000 volunteer mentors. Rich Ray has supported Pellissippi State since 2017. His gifts to the Student Opportunity Fund have helped assist students in crisis. He and his wife, Jane, have supported the construction of the library at Pellissippi State's Strawberry Plains campus. Randy Boyd says, Rich Ray doesn't just commit his money, he commits his time and his heart. Rich is a devoted philanthropist of Pellissippi State and the community that it serves. On behalf of the Tennessee Board of Regents, we are proud to recognize Richard B. Ray with his highest honor of excellence in philanthropy. And for additional comments, I'd like to call on Pellissippi State Community College President, Dr. Anthony Wise.
Good morning. Thank you, Regent Varlin. It's an honor for me to be with you and other members of the Board of Regents as we recognize Rich Ray. I'm grateful for this board and its recognizing him with the Regents Award for Philanthropy. I think it's very, very fitting. Rich was the first in his family to graduate from college. He grew up in East Knoxville and worked his way through the University of Tennessee. He very well remembers the challenges of working to pay tuition and navigating higher education without a mentor to guide him. And one of the things he often says is, if you're the first in your family ever to go beyond high school, you need somebody to tell you that it's possible to do it. And he's really made a personal commitment to telling his mentees that it's possible for them to do it. And I'm going to give one example. Zach Bowling was one of Rich Ray's first Tennessee Achieves mentees. His zip code indicates that he might not ever graduate from college. He needed somebody to believe in him if he was going to be successful. He went to Carter High School in rural East Knox County, and Rich began a relationship through the mentoring process. Rich told him at one of his first meetings that if he had a grade point average of at least 2.7, Rich would give him a job at his company. A year later, Zach contacted Rich, showed him his transcript, and asked him for that job. He began working at 21st Mortgage as a paid intern halfway through his community college education, went on to complete a bachelor's degree, and he's just recently completed his MBA. And what Zach says about Rich Ray is, when Rich said I could do it, it made it feasible for me. I am living proof that Tennessee Achieves is a changing organization through its work. Rich Ray is a great leader. He's a great philanthropist, but he's also somebody who takes time to make a human connection with the students in his life. And I think he's a great example of our system's commitment to student success and workforce development. So it's a great honor to speak on behalf of this recognition, and I'm grateful for the board for honoring Mr. Ray.
Thank you, Dr. Wise. Does anybody else have a comment? I'd like to say, I've known this man for a very long time. He is one of the most humble people you will ever want to meet. And that's sort of how he does what he does. He is very calm and humble, loving. I mean, he's just an amazing human. Extremely successful in his business, but I think in his life, doing what he's done with Tennessee Achieves, he really found what he was meant to do. And he would probably say that because he's been so incredibly effective. And everybody who knows him knows that he totally leads with his heart. So we have been so blessed to have him as part of our community, but also to have the ability to think what a mentor and what something like Knoxville Achieves could do, and then look how it's blown up across the state. It's just an incredible story. So amazing. So if there are no other comments, that concludes the 3 Excellence in Philanthropy reports. I have the best job. Thank you.
Thank you. Well done. And 3 really inspirational stories, corporate leadership, and 2 just outstanding Tennesseans. So thank you, Regent Varlin. That was fun. Puts a spring in our step today. It is now time for the Chancellor's report. And once again, I'm going to turn to Dr. Deaton to cover this for us today.
Thank you, Vice Chair Reynolds. And I have 4 items to present to you on behalf of the Chancellor. And I want to start out in a joyous way by celebrating Roane State's 50th anniversary. I want to congratulate Dr. Whaley and all of the current faculty and staff and students there for making that institution a great college and a force in that community over their half-century of existence. We have a video to chronicle their history, and Carol, if you could play that now.
For 50 years, Roane State Community College has been an integral part of East Tennessee. From its modest beginnings in 1971 until today, Roane State has provided many East Tennesseans new opportunities and pathways to success. Today, Roane State is widely considered one of the most forward-thinking community colleges in the country. And in 2020, was recognized as Tennessee's Community College of the Year. But as with most stories, success has not come easy. Roane State's story is no different. The college began with an idea, but has grown into an institution that has changed an entire region.
We had to start at the Fairmont Elementary School, and the offices were a couple of house trailers, one in front and one in back, and the students occupied all of the main part of the elementary school campus first year. Second year, we had to expand over to South Harriman Baptist Church for a lot of classes, and we worked out an arrangement with the public schools to have their buses run back and forth every class hour.
We begged churches to let us have classes until we could get buildings built. We begged for money. Anybody in the 10-county area, we were asking, can you please help? This is a good thing. Help us to do something special.
Roane State's early days were filled with excitement and enthusiasm. Flexibility and creativity were also necessary.
I don't think I ever heard in the first 10 years anybody complaining about going off campus to teach or being in a particular location or some strange environment. It was just what you did. It was just part of it. And there was an enthusiasm in those early years. It was just very inspiring.
When the decision to create Roane State was made by the state legislature, Dr. Kyler Dunbar was selected as the college's first president. His hard work and vision for what Roane State could mean to the region was the foundation of his 18-year presidency.
I remember Dr. Dunbar because the type of president he was and his vision for the college and the way he wanted us to interact with students.
He had a heart for students. And I've been in his office in the middle of a serious discussion. He would ask me to leave because a student was knocking on the door and wanted to talk to him. And that was wonderful,
Kyler Dunbar was the right man at the right time. He was a perfect fit for our first president because he was able to move the college, to raise these buildings, to raise what is now the Dunbar building, out of the ground and into a building, and to work with the community which provided the temporary facilities until we could get the permanent structures here.
Kyler Dunbar would walk through and he would say, if a vice president is in front of you and a president is standing in the doorway and there's an email from the governor and you've got a student in the chair, you take care of that student first. That student comes first.
In 1988, President Dunbar announced he would be leaving Roane State. Dr. Sherry Hoppe was named the new president. Dr. Hoppe faced a number of challenges and had to make some difficult decisions. She also brought a number of new ideas and innovations to the college while continuing the tradition of students first.
She had to be tough. She had to make some tough decisions, but she had the vision, to take all of this education out and to the communities.
We wouldn't have Zoom room technology without Sherry Hoppe. We would not be one of the schools, not just in Tennessee, but across the country, steeped in technology.
Dr. Hoppe led Roane State through a number of transitions. During her tenure, she saw the need to take education to students in their own communities and established a number of satellite campuses in counties the college served. In 1998, when Dr. Hoppe left to become president of Austin Peay University in Clarksville, Dr. Wade McCamey took over the role of president. Under Dr. McCamey's administration, Roane State's expansion continued, including campuses in Morgan, Fentress, and Campbell counties. In 2005, Dr. Gary Goff became Roane State's fourth president. Under his leadership, the Morgan County campus was completed. The Cumberland Business Incubator opened, and Roane State saw the opening of the Clinton Higher Education and Training Center. He also led an effort to partner with the city of Harriman to manage the newly renovated Princess Theater. In addition, Dr. Goff led Roane State to establish new programming in advanced manufacturing. During his tenure, Dr. Goff oversaw the tremendous growth on the Oak Ridge Branch campus. Originally designed for 1,800 students, the campus grew to 2,500 students with no room to expand. Under his leadership, a new 64,000 square foot, 3-story facility broke ground in June of 2014. The Goff Health Sciences and Technology Building provided additional classroom space for 500 students and gave Roane State the space to offer new programs in healthcare and technology. When Dr. Goff retired in 2012, Roane State selected Chris Whaley as its president, a role he still serves today. However, Dr. Whaley was no stranger to Roane State. In addition to being a Roane State graduate, he served for years as both a faculty member and dean for the college. In fact, his father, Lowell Whaley, was one of Roane State's first employees.
During basketball games, I would sell tickets and collect the money, and he would help me in there. He was about waist high that time.
Came over for basketball games, and what is now our food pantry was the ticket booth. So I can remember coming over there, and there was no heat, and of course it was cold usually in the winter. We had a little space heater, and so Dad took care of the money, and my job was to rip the tickets off.
Never thought that he would eventually go on to be president of Roane State. It's very proud.
Over the years, a number of programs and projects have come and gone, yet some have become a part of Roane State's identity. One such program is an annual trip for students to the southwestern U.S.
I thought this as a geographer that to expand these kids' horizons, maybe it would be a good thing to go someplace. And one of us said to the other, well, why don't we take a field trip in the summertime? Eventually, we went to Kyler with the proposal, to take this field trip to the Southwest, and he had to ponder it a while because it was uncharted ground. I don't think anybody else in the state had done anything like that, certainly no community colleges.
And for me, it appealed greatly because of, again, it related directly to the courses that I taught, sociology, cultural anthropology. There were a wide variety of really remarkable archaeological sites that were available. And that's more or less how it came to pass. And our first trip was in 1977. And the first two trips that Pete and I directed, I'd say again, we probably had somewhere in the area of about 14. And then Bruce Fisher and I ended up directing it together, co-directing it for 28 years.
Today, about 1/3 of the student body is enrolled in one of Roane State's 18 health science programs. The need to educate and certify healthcare workers has been a fundamental mission for Roane State from the beginning.
Shortly after Roane State was formed, one of the first programs that they added was the nursing program.
You literally cannot go to a hospital, to a doctor's office, to a dentist's office without running into the folks who have gotten their academic preparedness at Roane State. And that's a huge thing, not only because we talk about aging boomer population, et cetera, but that's something that's not going to go away. As long as there are human beings, there's going to be the need for health care.
Well, Roane State has always been the healthcare college for this region. And so there's always been a need for continued education, workforce development in the healthcare arena.
In 2014, Roane State expanded the opportunities in health science education when it opened the Goff Health Sciences and Technology Building on its Oak Ridge campus.
We had a nursing lab here, but we were able, with the Goff building, to have a new lab, new equipment, and we were able to provide more state-of-the-art facilities for our students to learn. And I think it's still true that we have the largest number of health science programs in any particular community college in the state. And so we offer a lot of different options for our students.
One of the ways Roane State has found to serve both students and the community is through workforce development degree programs and certifications.
Because when a student knows they can get a job, definitely get connected to an employer as they're going through that job, then they bring themselves in, or their grandparents or their aunt or uncle says, get over there to the college and get you that, So that's an example of how we work together to come up with a curriculum. What do you need? Tell us that, and we'll design the degree around that need.
Things that I've seen grow in the college, again, are these technical type programs. Again, I keep coming back to the mechatronics program, and then things like plastics and injection molding that we do at our Clinton Higher Education facility. Those are things that didn't exist a few years ago.
Partners help us develop what we offer, and that's really what a community college should be, is responsive to the community. So if you are taking cyber defense or programming or mechatronics, besides just getting a certificate from Rome State or a degree from Rome State, whether you're going on or staying, you might get your best bet. And what we're trying to build into our programs are those industry certifications that they recognize outside of a degree. It's a vast array of how can you respond, because that's what we're here to do, is to respond to developing people for this region to be good workers and talented. And so community means a lot of things to a lot of people, and I really think Rome State's lived up to what community means to a variety of people, how they define it.
Through statewide programs such as Tennessee Promise and Tennessee Reconnect, Rome State has seen an influx of a new and diverse student population. However, with new students often comes new needs.
Now, Tennessee Reconnect is wonderful because that takes care of tuition, but there are still needs, food, gas, etc. Our foundation steps in and helps meet a lot of those needs, but we're being intentional as a college in trying now. We've opened up 3 full-blown food pantries and hoping to open up more across our campuses to be able to meet those needs. If you're hungry, you can't concentrate and you can't study. You can't be a success in the classroom if you don't know when your next meal is coming.
From its humble beginnings 50 years ago until today, Rome State Community College has become a shining example of what can be accomplished with vision, commitment, and hard work. Since those first students and faculty walked into the very first class in a temporary facility in the fall of 1971, the college has had a significant impact on East Tennessee. Embracing new technology, utilizing new methods of educational delivery, and developing a vibrant workforce have become woven into the fabric of Rome State's identity. However, what began in 1971 and continues today is Rome State's commitment to high academic standards and a personal connection to each and every student. Over the past 50 years, thousands upon thousands have walked through the doors of Rome State, looking to make a better life and a brighter future for themselves and their families. They are proof that with vision, commitment, and drive, dreams can come true.
Tell everybody in the world it's absolutely got to be the best job to stand on that stage at commencement and get to shake people's hands, hand their diplomas to them, and congratulate them. Not only because of the academic success that they've demonstrated, but because you know that the vast majority of those students have had to overcome a number of things in their professional, personal lives to get to that place. So I don't think there's any better job in the world.
Carol, thank you for showing that. And let me just say congratulations to Rome State on such, first, a wonderfully developed video that chronicles their history. They have been blessed with wonderful leadership over the years, the excellence with which they serve their community and the joy and pride on the faces and comments of their staff are palpable, and it's just a wonderful commitment to that community. Vice Chair Reynolds, I have other items. Let me pause here to see if any board members or others have comments or observations about Rome State in celebration of their anniversary.
Hey, this is Regent Varlin. It's in my area. I've had the pleasure of knowing President Hoppy, President McCamey, President Golf, and now, of course, our current president. And it is, Rome State is just an amazing community college that our region is so lucky to have this college. And a lot of their nursing and students that are in medical fields will do a pediatric rotation at children. So I get a chance to meet so many of them and in fact do that on purpose. They are just wonderful students, and we in fact hire them, which is not true about every college that does some pediatric rotations. That are, and all of the ones under the Board of Regents we do. But the leadership that has brought Rome State to where it is continues with President Whaley, the dedication that is taken Rome State to where it is today, and with all the locations. They are at meetings I go to all the time that are not TBR related to me, but they are always there learning more about the community, whether it's related to the National Lab, all of those. It's amazing their presence in our region. And how they are so trusted in partnerships throughout our region. People immediately are partnering up with Rome State in a variety of ways. And Rome State, with Teresa Dunbar, she is a legacy, Rome State, and also played basketball there, but she you see her everywhere throughout our community representing Rome State, along with Dr. Whaley and all of their other amazing folks. So I just want to do a shout out because I've had so much opportunity to get to know the people there and to watch them do their work, their kindness. If ever I have a call and encouraging students to call, students are first there. I always ask students about their experiences. I've never had anything but a positive comment and a very thoughtful comment. So I just want to congratulate them on their 50th anniversary and say that our state and our region are so lucky to have them. Thank you.
Well said. Hey, Dr. Deaton, is Dr. Whaley with us this morning?
Dr. Whaley, do you happen to be on the line? I don't think he is, Vice Chair Reynolds.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to say I love his personal connection to the college. Mm-hmm. And first of all, ditto everything that Regent Varlin just said so beautifully, as she always does. But that was I did not know about Chris's legacy with the college, and especially his ticket-taking responsibilities. But it's such a Tennessee story and such a sweet story, and it does show, to what Teresa was saying in the video, just how strong these community connections are. So bravo on 50 years, and here's to 50 more.
Well said. Well, again, thank you, Dr. Whaley, and your entire staff for that. So moving on to the next item, I want to ask Dr. McCormick to warm up, so to speak. The Office of External Affairs has been tasked with establishing the TBR Police Department, who, as you know, the primary purpose will be to support the TCATs. However, the department's also going to work closely with college police departments to help support campuses across our system. So let me ask Executive Vice Chancellor Kim McCormick, along with our new Chief of Police, William Kane, to provide a progress report to the board. Kim?
Well, thank you, Dr. Deaton, and good morning, everyone. As Regent Varlin reported this morning, yesterday in the External Affairs Committee, we were able to hear about the Homeland Security Department safety and security assessments of our campuses across the state. They have now conducted those assessments of all of our institutions. As you all know, our presidents, TCAT presidents, do not have police forces. Our community colleges do. And our presidents have been doing a wonderful job, frankly, of taking care of that on their campuses. But we feel that they also need that police protection for safety and security that our community colleges have across the state, as well as our universities. So if this board does approve the request for funding, we will be sending that on to THEC to be able to build that force out. We also talked about the fact that we are very proud of the last week's post-commission meeting where we were unanimously approved to have a department at the Tennessee Board of Regents. They also affirmed that Chief Kane would be able to serve as the chief. As we talked about yesterday, he has been very busy doing what he needs to do because being the chief is not the only responsibility of the AVC for campus safety and security. But he is today going to join us to talk about what it actually would look like to be able to build this force out. So Chief Kane, if you are with us, I would like to turn this over to you.
Thank you very much, Dr. McCormick and Dr. Deaton. It is an honor to address the Regents and distinguished guests in attendance today. I'm obviously grateful for this opportunity to talk about our new police department. I'll be providing you with a brief update on the steps taken so far to establish the Tennessee Board of Regents Police Department, as well as the direction and vision of the department moving forward as we build out a highly capable and professional law enforcement agency. Next slide, please. Our goal with the creation of this department for the TBR system is to improve the safety and security of our students, staff, faculty, and guests at the Tennessee Colleges of Applied Technology with this new force. But this force will also benefit our 13 community colleges as well. As you are aware, there's currently no police force dedicated to protecting our TCAP facilities as there are at our community colleges. With the expected growth of TCATs in the coming years, this department will serve a vital life safety function. Next slide, please. I'll be starting in October as the Assistant Vice Chancellor for Campus Safety and Security full-time, but much work is already underway to build this department. Building a police department from the ground up requires quite a bit of work and administrative tasks, including those involving the Tennessee Peace Officer Standards and Training Commission, known as POST. As already mentioned, the first and most critical steps are recognition of the department by the Post Commission, and as a result of that recognition, access to the online trading portal of CADIS, where officer training and certifications are approved. I am pleased to share with the board that all required paperwork for the agency and for me as chief have been submitted to POST and approved. And of course, when I appeared in front of the board on September 17th, our new police department was officially recognized, and we now have the access that we need to the online training portal. While mainly administrative, this is an important first step for us. We are also in the process of joining the International Association of Campus Law Enforcement Administrators, also known as ICALEA, and the Tennessee Association of Chiefs of Police, or TACP. As a member of TACP, our system will continue to be well represented as I continue to chair the University Committee at TACP. But I want to just pause for a moment and brag on our TBR institutional police departments that already exist. Because when I took over as chair of the University Committee, I followed now retired Police Chief Sarah Rose from Walters State Community College. I think that shows that we are truly blessed with excellent law enforcement leaders across the TBR system, and we are leaders in the state amongst our peers. Future administrative tasks to establish this department require getting an originating agency identification number, or ORI number, for the department. We'll be working with the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation to make that happen. And that's important and critical in processing fingerprints for new hires and accessing important criminal justice databases such as NCIC. In order to conduct background investigations on new hires in the short term, we will have to have initial access to NCIC, and we'll need to have memoranda of understanding and non-terminal agency agreements with one or more local law enforcement partners. I will continue to draft department general orders. We're already doing that right now, the policies and procedures for the police department prior to hiring additional law enforcement team members. At the top of the list will be those policies and procedures related to the use of force, ensuring compliance with both state and federal laws. This is important because it will immediately place our agency in compliance with the presidential executive order on safe policing and safe communities. We will demonstrate compliance by subjecting our agency directives to review by both TACP and ICALEA. Next slide, please. The structure of the department includes having both an operations division responsible for highly visible police patrols of our TCAT locations on a daily basis, as well as an administrative division. The operations division will not only conduct patrols of TCAT institutions, they will respond to all calls for service within their assigned area or within their own TCAT institution. The operations division will be broken down into 4 regions, 2 regions in the west and 2 regions in the east. Each operational region will be responsible for roughly the same number of TCAT locations, including both main campuses and satellite locations. These regions keep the community college footprints intact as well, allowing for better coordination between the TBR Police Department and our community college law enforcement partners. This will better facilitate planning for emergencies in response to requests for additional manpower requested by our partners or by our agency to our community college partners. The Operations Division will also be responsible for ongoing security assessments of TCAT property, similar to the process recently undertaken in cooperation with the Tennessee Higher Education Commission and the Tennessee Department of Homeland Security. The Administrative Division will conduct background investigations, any criminal investigations that come along, and will be responsible for the training function of the department. All police officers in Tennessee are required to attend 40 hours, that's 1 week, of annual in-service training each year. Additionally, the Administrative Division will be responsible for coordinating the initial field training of all new TBR Police Department officers. Field training, which is different than academy training, is required for agencies pushing for accreditation through TACP and ICALEA. Supervision will be a key element of the new police department. Our plan, as presented, will focus on a top-down approach in hiring personnel. After approval of our budget, we will begin by hiring our command-level staff for operations and administration. We will then hire the next level of supervision, our regional supervisors, who will hold the rank of lieutenant. After hiring lieutenants, our command staff, together with their lieutenants, will hire first-line supervisors at the rank of sergeant. Only after the command and supervisory structures are in place will we hire line officers. Next slide, please. Strategic planning for our agency is critical. Our initial planning considered several options, including fully staffing this new agency based on the total number of hours our TCAT facilities are open for business. Based on staffing formulas, considering the total number of hours a police officer is scheduled to work, minus the hours these officers will be out due to annual leave, sick leave, and training, we determined more than 110 patrol officers would be needed to cover each location at all 27 TCATs. This plan was very expensive and did not provide for adequate administrative capabilities to manage the day-to-day operations of the police department. Though the best plan for total coverage, we feel a more modest plan will show a dedication to both the safety of our campuses and provide a structure within which the agency can grow responsibly until we do one day have an officer at all locations and at all times. Our proposed plan, which would assign 1 police officer to each TCAT institution, will allow for a police presence at each main campus and provide for patrols of satellite locations throughout the day. These day shift officers would be augmented with a smaller force of evening shift officers who would patrol the TCATs randomly from the end of day shift until the close of each campus in each region. This moderate plan is the one our leadership agrees is the best to launch our agency and to build a solid foundation for future growth. In the budget request, our plans include radios capable of communicating on the statewide Tennessee Advanced Communications Network, call taking and dispatching services, in addition to adequately and professionally equipping our police officers. Now, I can speak from experience leading and working for small municipal agencies and campus law enforcement agencies that these are critical needs which increase job satisfaction for officers, promote pride in their agency, and provide important capabilities to benefit the agency as well. And that's important because we are building a department in an environment where recruitment is a major challenge across the board for all police agencies, and our expectations for our future employees, despite these challenges, will not be reduced. We will only seek to bring the best and the brightest police candidates to the TBR Police Department. Next slide, please. With regard to the vision for the new TBR Police Department, I will give the following analogy. Imagine this agency in the same general way that Tennesseans view the Tennessee Highway Patrol. Their responsibility is primarily the interstates and state highways. Our highways will be the Tennessee Colleges of Applied Technology. The safety of TCATs will be our primary focus. However, just as THP will provide assistance upon request for local agencies in times of emergency or need, our agency will be a resource for the 12 community college police departments across the state and TBR. My vision for this agency includes providing top-notch annual training and specialized law enforcement training to our community college partners, in addition to our own TBR Police Department officers. We will also develop a strong emergency management capability within the TBR Police Department and provide support to our sister agencies should the need arrive. Finally, my overall vision for the police department is to operate a highly skilled, well-trained, and properly equipped law enforcement agency that will be accredited at both the state and national levels. Accredited agencies, according to ICALEA, quote, demonstrate to their personnel, the campus community, and outside experts their professionalism and mission focus, end quote. Though not required for law enforcement agencies, accreditation is extremely important and will not only provide for third-party verification of operating procedures that meet or exceed best practice, but a confirmation the agency is following its general orders. TACP accreditation will ensure compliance with state standards, and ICALEA accreditation will ensure we are meeting the unique best practices of campus law enforcement agencies. I want to be clear, there is no reason that would prevent our police department, if fully funded, from being a leading agency in Tennessee and in the nation for campus police. We will treat people with respect and dignity and protect the rights of all persons on our campus properties. We will hold our personnel accountable for their professional demeanor and will expect nothing less than their best efforts to deliver the highest quality law enforcement services to our on-campus population. Our TBR police force will look sharp, act professionally, and use the restraint and discretion necessary to function in the higher education environment. And I know everybody in attendance today would accept nothing less, and neither will I. I want to thank you very much for your time and attention and for your service to the students across the state of Tennessee. Thank you.
Chief Kane, Dr. McCormick, thank you both for that update. It's a seminal moment in TBR's history to stand up this police force. Two more items. Vice Chair Reynolds want to provide the board an update on the Dyersburg State Community College presidential search. The 17-member committee for that president is chaired by Greg Duckett. Thank you, Regent Duckett, for your service. They interviewed 10 candidates in round one last week, and the search firm who's assisting us, Greenwood Asher & Associates, is currently in the process of completing those candidates' reference checks. The committee will meet again in October to review the results of those reference checks and determine which candidates will move on to the next round of interviews. That next round of interviews is scheduled for late October, and the goal is to have a new president in place January 1st, 2022, the day after, of course, President Boyer retires. And we will, of course, honor Dr. Boyer and her 37 years of service to Dyersburg State at the December board meeting. And finally, board members want to provide you an update on the recent sunset audit hearing that the board had a few weeks ago. And to give you some background here, periodically, each entity of state government undergoes a review to determine whether it should be reauthorized by the General Assembly to continue its mission. And this sunset approach to state government allows the legislature to review the structure and performance of state agencies and has been in use for several decades now. And to effectuate this, the General Assembly's Government Operations Committee uses a sunset audit, which is performed by the Comptroller's Office, to assess whether an entity is performing its mission. And ultimately, of course, the legislature will use this information to decide whether an entity should be continued or restructured or even terminated. The sunset audit process examines mission, performance, and other policy and program features, and is distinct from a finance and compliance audit, which TBR undergoes every other year from state audit. So TBR underwent this sunset audit over this past year, and it covered the period 2018 through 2021, which was the time since our last sunset audit. And the results of the audit were published this month by the Comptroller's Office and then presented to the joint Senate and House Government Operations Committee on Education, Health, and General Welfare. On September 15th, Chancellor Tidings joined that committee and offered testimony on the report. As part of any sunset audit process, the staff from the Comptroller's Office interview agency personnel, they examine documents, and if there are significant deficiencies or problems, they summarize those as findings in the audit reports. And I'm pleased to report that TBR had no findings this year for our sunset audit. And therefore, the Joint Government Operations Committee recommended a 4-year extension for TBR. That's the maximum allowable length. And I want to thank the Comptroller's Office staff who were always professional and thorough, and we're grateful to them for their work, as well as to, of course, the many staff at TBR who interfaced with them during their nearly year-long review. Vice Chair Reynolds, that concludes my report, and I will pass it back to you.
Thank you. Well done. Any questions for Russ or anyone else we've heard from, Chief Kane, others, in the course of the Chancellor's report? Thank you, Chief. That was a very impressive presentation. And once again, we welcome you and look forward to getting to know you. And also to Roan State. Again, we regret we are not there with you today, but we appreciate the chance to have seen the video and to have celebrated with you in a small way 50 years of achievement. Sanja has told me that Commissioner Schwinn has joined us. Commissioner, welcome. And Sanja will need to record your attendance and ask you 2 questions, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Commissioner Schwinn, if you don't mind, if you'll just answer the questions as to whether or not you can hear and speak with us, and then also if you have anyone in the room with you.
She may have had a distraction, which is understandable given how many.
Okay.
So
we'll ask again when we call for another vote.
All right. Thank you. We do have one item of unfinished business, and it's obviously a conversation we've been having for some time, and yesterday got the latest and greatest report, and that is with regard to the approval of the merger of the TCAT Jackson and the TCAT Whiteville. You will recall, as we heard yesterday, that U.S. Department of Education has approved this merger, and the lights just went off because I'm not moving enough, I guess. The TCAT, hold on. Oh, well, I'll just proceed. There it goes. You will recall that U.S. DOE has approved the merger, and the Chancellor, of course, had provided a letter to them along the way. In addition, COE, the accrediting body for the TCAT, has approved this merger, so 2 very important steps are completed. But this has been an ongoing conversation really since 2018 when the board first heard of this proposal. And we've had community conversations as well. You heard that yesterday as well with our state legislators. We discussed this in academic policies yesterday. We also heard about the considerable cost saving that we will incur. But importantly, as Dr. Sis pointed out, this will be a seamless transition for our students. So as a consequence, the Chancellor is asking us today to approve, given the DOE approval and COE approval, to take this final action to approve the TCAT merger of Jackson and Whiteville. With that, I would entertain a motion for your approval, please.
I'll move for approval.
Thank you, Regent Burdine. And a second?
Varlin, second.
All right. Thank you very much, Danny Varlin. Any discussion or further questions on this? Hearing none, Sanja, let's call the roll.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Regent Apple?
Aye.
Regent Burdine?
Aye.
Regent Duckett?
Aye.
Regent George?
Aye.
Regent Gill?
Aye.
Regent Green?
Aye.
Regent Hatch?
Aye.
Commissioner Hatcher?
Aye.
Regent Powers?
Aye.
Regent Reed?
Aye.
Vice Chair Reynolds?
Aye.
Commissioner Schwinn? Commissioner Schwinn? Regent Thompson?
Aye.
Regent Varlin?
Aye.
Regent Whomp?
Aye.
Regent White?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you very much. Thank you all. And again, to Dr. Jeff Sisk, thank you for all the hard work we know went into this. So this is a great conclusion, and we look forward to hearing more. We will move to new business at this time, and our first item to take up is obviously somewhat bittersweet. Of course, we honored the memory of Mark Lenz as we opened yesterday with a moment of silence. We will thank him later with a resolution for his tremendous service to the TCAT at Nashville. But with that, we will need to review the criteria and approve that criteria as we begin the search for the next president at the Nashville TCAT. Let me just say to Dr. Jerry King, Mark's vice president, who is serving so ably as interim president, he has our gratitude and our thanks. We know it's been a traumatic time for our faculty, the administrative team, and our students. Chancellor has been over to visit with them. And again, Jerry King is doing a remarkable job keeping the team going. So our deep thanks to him for his professionalism and his commitment. Dr. Deaton, may I call on you to present the criteria which was in the board's materials?
It is indeed, yes. Thank you, Madam Chair. Well, after President Lenz's untimely death, Vice President Jerry King has graciously agreed to step up to serve as interim president while the search takes place. That draft criteria for the next president of TCAT Nashville is in the board materials, and if approved, will be posted, and the recruitment process will begin immediately. Committee members and the chair of the committee will be announced in the near future, and TBR's April Preston will coordinate the search from the central office. Madam Chair, unless there are any changes, I would ask approval of the criteria for the next president of TCAT Nashville.
Thank you. Let me just add, as Russ mentioned with the search, while the committee has not yet been put together, Joey Hatch, Regent Hatch, has graciously agreed to serve as chair of the committee, and I know he'll do a tremendous job. We do need a motion and a second to approve the criteria as we begin this search for the next president at the TCAT Nashville.
So moved, Hatch.
Thank you, sir. And a second?
Second, Duckett.
Thank you, Greg. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Sanja, would you call the roll for us, please?
Thank you. Regent Apple?
Aye.
Regent Burdine?
Aye.
Regent Duckett?
Aye.
Regent George?
Aye.
Regent Gill?
Aye.
Regent Green?
Aye.
Regent Hatch?
Aye.
Commissioner Hatcher?
Aye.
Regent Powers?
Aye.
Regent Reed?
Aye.
Vice Chair Reynolds?
Aye.
Commissioner Schwinn? Regent Thompson?
Aye.
Regent Barlin?
Aye.
Regent Whomp?
Aye.
Regent White?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you all very much. We'll next have the report from the Finance and Business Operations Committee that met yesterday. Greg, did you want to present this or did you want me to go ahead?
I can present it.
That'd be great. Thank you, sir.
Well, as acknowledged, the Finance and Business Operations Committee met in regular session yesterday. The committee reviewed 5 items at the meeting. Those items included, number 1, proposed parking and traffic fines were reviewed and approved as required by statute. Number 2, as a result of a change in state law regarding dual enrollment grant funding, the current dual enrollment tuition rate was repealed effective spring 2022 semester. Dual enrollment tuition and mandatory fees will now be equal to the cost of in-state tuition and mandatory fees for the same as for regular students. Thirdly, the report of the technology assess fee spending plan for fiscal year 2021-2022 was provided as an informational item. Fourth, system budget request for funding for TCAT safety and security, TCAT student success support, and for enhancing student success and workforce development were presented to the committee and approved. These requests for fiscal year 2022-2023 will be sent to the Tennessee Higher Education Committee. Lastly, capital outlay requests were presented and approved. 3 capital renovations request totaling $42,100,000 and 3 capital outlay requests totaling $164,732,000 were approved by the committee for submittal to the Tennessee Higher Education Commission. As committee chair, I move that the board approve as presented the report of the September 23rd, 2021 meeting of the Committee on Finance and Business Operations.
Thank you, sir. Do we have a second?
Second. Green.
Thank you, Regent Green. Any discussion or questions on yesterday's meeting or these minutes? If not, let's act now.
Thank you. Regent Apple?
Aye.
Regent Burdine?
Aye.
Regent Duckett?
Aye.
Regent George?
Aye.
Regent Gill?
Aye.
Regent Green?
Aye.
Regent Hatch?
Aye.
Commissioner Hatcher?
Aye.
Regent Powers?
Aye.
Regent Reed?
Aye.
Vice Chair Reynolds?
Aye.
Commissioner Schwinn? Regent Thompson?
Aye.
Regent Varlin?
Aye.
Regent Womp?
Aye.
Regent White?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you. Thank you, committee, and Vice Chancellor Gibbs and Dick Tracy and the whole team that gets us ready for these. To Regent Green now, the report from Personnel and Compensation Committee, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The Personnel and Compensation Committee met in regular session yesterday to review and recommend the approval of the following items. Number 1, the faculty emeritus. 2, faculty promotion recommendation for TCAT Shelbyville. 3, faculty promotional increase for TCAT Shelbyville. And 4, executive incentive payment for the Chancellor. As committee chair, I move that the board approve the report of yesterday, September 23rd, meetings of the Committee and Personnel of Compensation as presented.
Thank you, ma'am. Do we have a second?
I'll second. Second, it's Tom.
Thank you, Miles. I think I got Miles first there, Tom.
All right, I'll be quicker next time.
That's right. Thanks to you both. Any further discussion? Hearing none, once again, we will need a roll call vote for approval of the minutes of personnel.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Regent Apple?
Aye.
Regent Burdine?
Aye.
Regent Duckett?
Aye.
Regent George? Regent George? Thank you.
Aye.
Regent Gill?
Aye.
Regent Green?
Aye.
Regent Hatch?
Aye.
Commissioner Hatcher?
Aye.
Regent Powers?
Aye.
Regent Reed?
Aye.
Vice Chair Reynolds?
Aye.
Commissioner Schwinn? Regent Thompson?
Aye.
Regent Varlin?
Aye.
Regent Womp?
Aye.
Regent White?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
Excellent. Thank you. And thank you, Regent Green, for chairing this committee. Sanja has been busy planning our 2022 year, and we have meeting dates before us to hopefully approve today and to get on everyone's calendar for the coming year. Russ, I believe you're going to bring us up to speed on those.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. And those dates, which are listed in the board materials, are as follows. March 24th next year at the TBR System Office in connection with the SOAR Awards, of course. June 16th and 17th at Columbia State Community College. September 22nd and 23rd at Pellissippi State Community College. And finally, Thursday, December 1st at the TBR System Office. And Madam Chair, unless there are questions, I request approval of these dates.
Thank you. Any questions or comments for Russ? And obviously, we will build out committee chairs meetings around that too.
Madam Chair, could Russ repeat those dates, please? I was on a sun drop run.
Yeah. Yes, and we'll get them to everybody too, Regent Gill. Great question, but let's go ahead one more time. Thank you.
Sure thing. The first one, March 24th at the TBR System Office. June 16th and 17th at Columbia State. September 22nd and 23rd at Pellissippi. And then December 1st back at TBR.
And what were the September dates again?
September 22 and 23.
22 and 23. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
So now that the sun drop run is complete, which we know is important, would you care to call the question, Regent Gill, for a motion to approve these?
With my sun drop safe in hand, I would be tickled to call for the question and make a motion that we approve.
Thank you, sir. Do we have a second?
Second, Barlin.
Yeah, I beat her that time.
Second, Tom White. Oh,
go Tom. Go Tom.
Do we have any discussion on these? Hearing none, since we are meeting electronically, we will need to approve these as well by another quick roll call vote, please. Sanja?
Thank you. Regent Apple?
Aye.
Regent Burdine?
Aye.
Regent Duckett?
Aye.
Regent George?
A more timely aye.
Thank you. Regent Gill?
Aye.
Regent Green?
Aye.
Regent Hatch?
Aye.
Commissioner Hatcher?
Aye.
Regent Powers?
Aye.
Regent Reed?
Aye.
Vice Chair Reynolds?
Aye.
Commissioner Schwinn? Regent Thompson?
Aye.
Regent Varlin?
Aye.
Regent Wamp?
Aye.
Regent White?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you all very much. Brian Lapps, we have a policy revision to consider this morning.
Good morning, and thank you, Madam Vice Chair. The policy revision, if Carol, could you advance the slide, please, relates to the conflict of interest policy for Regents. One of the issues that took place at the Sunset Review that Dr. Deaton talked about, one of the main issues that the Comptroller's Office looked at was corporate governance. And out of that corporate governance review came some opportunities for improvement that we found with respect to the conflict of interest policy. So next slide, please, Carol. The main thing that the revisions, which are in your materials, discuss is sending the conflict of interest policy for Regents as well as the disclosure forms out promptly upon appointment of a new Regent. And then we would, instead of waiting until January to send out the annual conflict of interest forms, in January we would send them out prior to the December meeting in the hopes of getting them back at the December meeting. And then Office of General Counsel, in consultation with the Secretary, would follow up as necessary going forward. There are a couple of other cleanup matters to make the language what we think is more accurate. And then we've revised the disclosure form itself to make it a little bit clearer, and perhaps most significantly for some of you who don't have ready access to a witness, remove the necessity for a witness signature requirement, which really has no legal import or reason. So we would suggest removing that.
Any questions for Brian? Hearing none, do we have a motion to approve this change in our conflict of interest policy?
So moved. This is Danny.
Thank you, Danny Harlan. A second?
Second.
Thank you, Regent Duckett. Yes, sir. Any discussion? If not, Sanja, once again.
Thank you. Regent Apple?
Aye.
Regent Burdine?
Aye.
Regent Duckett?
Aye.
Regent George?
Aye.
Regent Gill?
Aye.
Regent Green?
Aye.
Regent Hatch?
Aye.
Commissioner Hatcher?
Aye.
Regent Powers?
Aye.
Regent Reed?
Aye.
Vice Chair Reynolds?
Aye.
Commissioner Schwinn?
Aye.
Thank you. I'm sorry if I've been missing your vote earlier, but just wanted for our record, if you wouldn't mind answer the two questions. Obviously you can speak and hear.
Yes, and I am alone.
Thank you. And Regent Thompson?
Aye.
Regent Varlin?
Aye.
Regent Womp?
Aye.
Regent White?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you very much. And with this, I neglected to mention in Russ's Chancellor's report, and he thanked the Comptroller's Office and our team here on this sunset review. It was a lot of work from the Comptroller's Office. Mike Batson and his team, Sanja put a great deal of time into this, and I'm sure there are many others that I'm not aware of who were essential in this process in working with the Comptroller's Office. But we did have a very good sunset review, and there are lots of thanks to go around. And we are, of course, are grateful for the extension of that 4-year maximum that Russ mentioned. So thanks to the Comptroller's Office for their professionalism, and a thanks to our team as well. It was very well done. With that, Brian, let me come back to you, and we have a proposed change to our TBR bylaws. Please, sir.
Thank you. And next slide, please, Carol. The proposed revisions are something that we discussed on in the June meeting as required, and it is essentially to delete the language that the president shall make an annual report to the board through the chancellor of the work and condition of the institution under his or her control. The rationale, as we previously discussed, is not to take away any authority of the board. The board can certainly request whatever information it wants, but as Dr. Deaton and his team so ably demonstrated yesterday, the language in providing an annual report is just out of date and does not reflect the current method of information transmission, where we try to do it much more promptly than annually and make it more user-friendly than just a written report. So the goal of this would be to remove that requirement and then move forward, just continuing to provide the information as we're doing while we continuously improve our ability to do that.
Thank you, Brian. Any questions on this? Hearing none, we do need a motion to approve this revision to our bylaws, please.
So moved, Tom.
Thank you, Tom Varlin, Tom White, and a second.
I know Tom Varlin.
I know, we all do. And a second.
High school, yeah.
Really? That's my husband.
I know.
Second.
Thank you, Greg Duckett. So I had no idea you two went to high school together. That's amazing. So any discussion? If not, Sanja, would you call the roll, please?
Thank you. Regent Apple?
Aye.
Regent Burdine?
Aye.
Regent Duckett?
Aye.
Regent George?
Aye.
Regent Gill?
Aye.
Regent Green?
Aye.
Regent Hatch?
Aye.
Commissioner Hatcher?
Aye.
Regent Powers?
Aye.
Regent Reed?
Aye.
Vice Chair Reynolds?
Aye.
Commissioner Schwinn?
Aye.
Thank you. Regent Thompson?
Aye.
Regent Varlin?
Aye.
Regent Womp?
Aye.
And Regent White?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
Very good. Thank you all. Jerry Faulkner, our president at Volunteer State, as we know, retired at the end of August. And again, this is a bittersweet moment. He did so many great things at Vol State. Sanja told me the other day that she understands that he and Wanda have bought an RV. I knew they loved to travel, so there's no telling where those two are today. But we do want to consider a resolution of appreciation for his service to Vol State and to he had such great tentacles, if you will, at several of our colleges. So with that, I would like to call on Regent Mary Lou Apple to present the resolution for President Faulkner.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is a resolution of appreciation for the service of Dr. Jerry L. Faulkner in the Tennessee Board of Regents. Whereas Dr. Jerry L. Faulkner has 27 years of service with the Tennessee Board of Regents system, first as a biology faculty member, and then selected as department head for life sciences and teacher education coordinator at Chattanooga State Community College, then vice president of academic affairs at Cleveland State Community College, and finally president of Volunteer State Community College since 2012. And whereas at Vol State, he tapped into his experience as a first-generation college student in East Tennessee and established a Vol State's first ever First-Generation Day to recognize and celebrate this group of students. And whereas under his leadership, Vol State launched the mechatronics program in multiple campus locations in 2018, combining electrical and mechanical engineering to respond to industry needs to improve the education and economic progress in the region and state through the Level 1 and Level 2 Siemens certifications and the Associate of Applied Science and Mechatronics Technology, and dedicating resources to expand the Wharf building to add a mechatronics wing with state-of-the-art equipment. And whereas during his tenure, he made it his mission to enhance the image of the college in the community through continued efforts to present and have intentional conversations about how our college community could better respond to service area needs, enabling the college to be more responsive at the grassroots level and helping to facilitate academic program expansions in multiple areas. And whereas in response to community needs, he worked to respond to student food insecurity needs and the development and launch of the Feed Student Food Pantry, as well as an emergency resources fund to help students through tough times so they can remain active in academic programs without derailment. And whereas President Faulkner launched the highly desired nursing program at the Gallatin and Livingston campuses, allowing the institution to train and graduate a greater number of RNs per year to help meet the growing demand for registered nurses in the college's 11 county service area. And whereas President Faulkner led the college to earn additional funds in the state's outcomes funding formula for consecutive years, especially through efforts to expand workforce and economic development, continuing education and training, which was a major area of focus and growth during this tenure at Vol State. And whereas Dr. Faulkner was instrumental in creating and retaining the dual enrollment gap scholarship so that students could effectively earn college credits while enrolled in high school with tuition costs covered through last dollar funds, increasing educational opportunities for many. Whereas under his leadership, the college fully funded the long-awaited salary plan that updated compensative ranges across the board to make full market value, allowing for a greater focus on his investment in faculty and staff. And now, therefore, be it resolved that the Tennessee Board of Regents gratefully expresses its sincere appreciation to Dr. Jerry L. Faulkner for his outstanding contributions and leadership to the system, and particularly his students in the Northern, Middle Tennessee, and Southeastern Tennessee regions, and wishes him the very best in his retirement. And Madam Chair, I'll take a moment of personal reference to say that I've known Jerry for pretty much all those 27 years and worked along beside of him as vice president in academic affairs. And I can remember him telling me that he was not really interested in going and doing those leadership jobs. He thought he would just stay in the role of teaching and loving on those students. And then what a surprise to see how all this worked out, and he became a very successful president of All State. We're fortunate to have had him in Tennessee, and I respect him as a friend, a colleague, and appreciate all he did for our institutions.
Thank you. Are you offering the resolution as a motion, Regent Apple?
I certainly am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you for your comments. We need a second, please.
I'll second Green.
Thank you. And any further discussion or comments? Hearing none, let's act on this motion of appreciation, a resolution of appreciation for President Faulkner with a roll call vote. Sanja?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Regent Apple?
Aye.
Regent Burdine?
Aye.
Regent Duckett?
Aye.
Regent George?
Aye.
Regent Gill?
Aye.
Regent Green?
Aye.
Regent Hatch?
Aye.
Commissioner Hatcher?
Aye.
Regent Powers?
Aye.
Regent Reed?
Aye.
Vice Chair Reynolds?
Aye.
Commissioner Schwinn?
Aye.
Regent Thompson?
Aye.
Regent Barlin?
Aye.
Regent Wamp?
Aye.
Regent White?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you very much. And thank you, Dr. Faulkner. You will be missed, and we know you left the college in capable hands and made a seamless transition there. So well done. I would now like to turn to Regent Hatch for our resolution in memoriam for President Mark Lentz, please, sir.
Thank you, Vice Chair Reynolds. Whereas Mark A. Lentz served as president of the Tennessee College of Applied Technology at Nashville for 12 years and was a passionate advocate for the college and its students, faculty, and staff. And whereas Mr. Lentz proudly served his country in the United States Navy from 1978 to 1984 and earned military honors that included 2 humanitarian medals for his assistance in rescuing refugees off the coast of Vietnam. And whereas his post-military career included nearly 30 years in industry, including a 26-year career at the Bosch Corporation, progressing from machine operator to training manager to international trainer. In that role, he collaborated with and provided instruction at universities and technical colleges, earning the 2009 Silver Star of Excellence Award by the American Technical Education Association and induction into the National Technical Honor Society Educator Hall of Fame for his work in establishing the first mechatronics training programs. And whereas Mr. Lentz earned his bachelor's degree in workforce education and development at Southern Illinois University and his master's degree in human resources management and development at Webster University, and transitioned to higher education when the Tennessee Board of Regents appointed him president of TCAT Nashville in October 2009. And whereas as president, he oversaw operations of the college's main campus in Nashville, branch campuses in Portland, Springfield, and Cockrell Bend, and correctional education programs for incarcerated individuals at 2 state correctional facilities, all serving more than 1,500 students annually. And whereas under his leadership, the college expanded to more than 20 high-demand career programs, established new apprenticeship partnerships with area businesses enabling students to earn while they learn, and opened a new state-of-the-art facility to train students to maintain and repair large diesel engines. And whereas also under his leadership, the college became a model institution for public career and technical education, frequently visited by education policymakers, including governors and the U.S. Secretary of Education. And whereas Mr. Lentz was proud of the work at the college, he enjoyed working with students and taking visitors on tours, stopping in classrooms where he introduced students, displaying the skills they were learning, and leading graduation ceremonies in which he greeted each new graduate and presented their diplomas, certificates, and awards. And whereas having earned distinction as an Eagle Scout in his youth, he served on the executive board of the Middle Tennessee Council of the Boy Scouts of America and was active in his community and church, including choir and barbershop singing and faithful service at Grace Lutheran Church. And whereas he was especially proud of his family, including his wife of 25 years, Jolette Lentz, their children and grandchildren, his sisters and extended family, who cherish his memory and who established the Mark Lentz Memorial Scholarship to assist students who are single parents. And whereas Mr. Lentz helped transform the lives of thousands of students and their families across Nashville and Middle Tennessee, was a champion of public higher education, and had a profound impact on the Tennessee College of Applied Technology, Nashville, the Tennessee Board of Regents system, and the state of Tennessee. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Tennessee Board of Regents recognizes and is forever grateful to Mark A. Lentz for his tireless service, expresses our sincere regret at his passing on September the 8th, 2021, and extends to his family and the campus community our deepest sympathy. Vice Chair Reynolds, before I make the motion for us to approve this resolution, I'd like to make a couple of comments about Mr. Lentz.
Please.
Okay, so I got to know Mark after I joined the Board of Regents. I toured his facility several times. It was incredible to walk through those classrooms, those full classrooms, and see his face light up when he walked in each room. And he knew many of the students by name, and of course they knew him, and he was a visible leader and president. And I will say, when you judge a man and how he lived his life, he was an Eagle Scout. He served our country in the Navy. He was a TCAT president. He was a husband, a father, a grandfather, and what a great full life he lived. So with that said, I would like to make a motion that we approve this resolution to honor in memoriam Mark Lentz.
Thank you, Regent Hatch. Do we have a second?
Danny, I'll be the second.
Thank you, Regent Varlin. Any further discussion? Hearing none, let's honor the life and service of Mark Lentz with a roll call vote, please.
Regent Apple.
Aye.
Regent Burdine.
Aye.
Regent Duckett.
Aye.
Regent George.
Aye.
Regent Gill.
Aye.
Regent Green.
Aye.
Regent Hatch.
Aye.
Commissioner Hatcher.
Aye.
Regent Powers.
Aye.
Regent Reed.
Aye.
Vice Chair Reynolds,
Aye.
Commissioner Schwinn, Commissioner Schwinn.
Oh, yes, aye. Sorry, I couldn't get off mute.
Thank you. All right. Regent Thompson,
Aye.
Regent Varlin.
Aye, may his memory be eternal.
Thank you. Regent Wamp,
Aye.
Regent White.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you all, and we will share this with his family as soon as possible. Thank you. We have 2 more items to complete today. The next will be a bit of a surprise to someone on this call. It is a resolution of appreciation for the service of Sanja F. Mason as the Board Secretary of the Tennessee Board of Regents. Let me see if I can get through this. Whereas Sanja F. Mason joined the Tennessee Board of Regents staff in March 2001 as Assistant Board Secretary and Executive Assistant to the General Counsel. And she was appointed Board Secretary effective January 1, 2018. And whereas during her tenure of nearly 21 years at the TBR System Office, she has worked with board officers and members, chancellors, and other board staff to manage the administrative operations of the Board of Regents admirably and with utmost professionalism. And whereas her service has included the planning and execution and in consultation with the board vice chair and chancellor of all board meetings, including 82 regularly scheduled quarterly board meetings and innumerable special called meetings, all conducted effectively and efficiently. Whereas she deeply respected the hard work, commitment, and dedicated voluntary service of the individual board members, and diligently work to ensure that their time is well spent in the execution of their duties. And whereas she developed and coordinated informative orientation sessions for all newly appointed board members, and she assisted the board and the chancellor with the important task of presidential searches. And whereas when the Focus Act of 2016 went into effect, Ms. Mason generously volunteered her expertise and experience to advise the 6 newly independent TBR universities on governing boards. And whereas she took a particular interest in ensuring that student regents are acclimated and appreciated for their special insight and service as board members. And whereas she always made certain to remember board members on their birthdays and other celebrations, and on trips to board meetings, she gathered members after dinner for a rousing game of spades, frequently shared award-winning recipes, quilting tips, and dog stories, and in general has extended advice, care, and concern, and countless thoughtful gestures to each member of the board through the years. And whereas she earned her Bachelor of Science degree in Business Education from Middle Tennessee State University, achieved several office administration certifications, and participated in professional development activities to augment her effectiveness as an administrator. Whereas Ms. Mason has served the board, the state of Tennessee, and its people and students for nearly 21 years, performing her duties in a professional, friendly, compassionate, and skilled manner. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Tennessee Board of Regents expresses its sincere gratitude and appreciation to Sanja F. Mason for her dedication, integrity, friendship, and leadership, and her long service to the board, the TBR system, and the state of Tennessee, and also wishes her all the best in her retirement. May I have a motion to approve this resolution, please?
So moved.
Thank you. And a second?
Seconded by Mark George.
Thank you, Mark George. Any discussion?
We love you, Sanja. That's all. You have been the best. You are a lovely, loving person, whether we're playing cards and having a great time at real live meetings, or if you're just double checking with us to make sure we have things, or if you're sending us things we can't find. You have been an absolute joy, and you definitely found your calling in taking care of and herding cats. Thank you.
Hey, I'll jump in. I love that saying, herding cats. It didn't take me long as a new board member to figure out if you wanted to know something or figure out how to do it or get it right, you talked to Miss Mason, and she was always so caring and loving and helpful. As long as I've known her, I only found one true character flaw, and it's that university in Alabama that she pulls for. And I can't say that out loud, but other than that, she's the best.
Oh, Regent George, I think I see you.
Yeah, I was just going to say that I've only been on the board for just a little over a year, and just a newfound appreciation for what a secretary means and what a professional job. I've been so impressed, and I keep meaning to say something to Sanja, so I guess I'm doing it now publicly, but just a great experience in keeping us organized, and I've just been very impressed, and just a great appreciation for what that role is.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sanja, I just a quick to say that you're the best at what you do of anybody that I have seen in public service.
Thank you.
Hear, hear.
Hear, hear.
Regent Green.
Sanja, one of the best qualities of a mama is to know all of her children and all of the personalities of her children. And so I just think for the past 4 years, you've adopted all of us. For me personally, for the past 4 years, checking in, doing more than what your official job title tells you. So thank you for being our Mama Mason and caring for us so much and putting forth everything that you've done for this system, but just really for our students and for all of us. So thank you for taking that extra time. Thank you for the extra care. You didn't have to do it, and we really, really value you and wish you the best in retirement. Thank you.
Sanja, I always felt like whether I was on the phone with you, or on a Zoom call with you, or in the room with you, I always felt like I was being hugged.
Oh,
you're wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Sanja.
Regent Duckett.
Yeah. I'm trying to get myself together. Here at Baptist, we have an expression around service where a person goes above and beyond. You have truly gone above and beyond in working with us. I am personally and professionally grateful for having had the opportunity to know and work with you. And I truly, truly want you to know this is one person who will miss your smiling face.
I'll miss you too.
Anyone else?
Hey, I'll tell everybody, a lot of you on the board and others listening have been in similar shoes to mine where when I came on the board 2 years ago, we had a tiny baby, and Sanja's greatest interest was Halloween pictures and interest in the little people who mean the most in my life. And 4.5 months ago, we welcomed another into our family. And any professional touch from Sanja always came with a personal one. And for those of us who've got particularly little kids who kind of dominate your hours and days, it says everything about a person that Sanja's intention is not just to get the job done or to transmit information. And I don't think what Mark Gill said is overstated at all, that I've not seen somebody in a role like yours perform as well as, and I've only been around for 2 years, but I've never seen anybody do it as well as I saw you do it.
Thank you.
Hey, this is Charlie Hatcher.
Mr. Hatcher?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So I require a lot of adult supervision generally, and Sanja, and just cut to the chase. I need somebody to tell me what to do and when to be there, and she's done that for me, and that's important for an organization like this. And so, and she's an excellent herder of cats. I mean, and that's really what it takes. So, congratulations on your retirement, but you're not going anywhere. It's not a sad occasion.
No.
As the newbie, I feel like I've got shortchanged. I've still not actually got to meet her face to face. So I get a lunch the next time I'm down in your neck of the woods. But thank you for your guidance and your care and your kindness and the text messages, and just you've been great. I appreciate you so much.
Thank you.
Sanja, this is Nisha, and I'll echo what Regent Reed just said, that my unfortunate thing is that I have not gotten to get a personal hug, in-person hug, and to experience you in person, but it's a rare quality for people to be able to jump off a screen or jump off an email or a text, but and I thought I was special because I thought all those texts were just me, but I'm seeing that you have lots of folks that love you the same and you love the same, so darn it. But I'm thankful for you. And the beautiful thing about your departure from the TBR to me really is that you are not like most people retire and they're going off to enjoy an experience in life and travel, but you, true to who you are going to be just caretaking, just in a different way and with different people. So I think that's a beautiful thing and so indicative of who you are and have been for us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chancellor, are you back? Oh, I'm sorry.
I just want to say there's so many things I want to say to you, and none of them would quite reach the mark that I want to say, but you're a jack of all trades, a true professional, loyal to the end, a guide to us all. You exceeded our expectations, but most of all, you've been our friend. Thank you, and we'll never forget you.
Thank you.
Chancellor, are you back?
I am back, and so I wanted to wait till all the board members spoke before I did, but I do publicly want to talk about the great job that Sanja has done, not only for each and every one of you, but what she does every single day here at the office. As I shared when we were on our last leadership team meeting with her earlier in the week, that she's the person that trained me when I got here. She took the reins and helped me see the history and the many tentacles of what we do here at the system office. She is our resident historian. I'm not sure what we're going to do because every day somebody will say, well, do you know? And then they'd say, go ask Sanja. So she's promised not to change her cell phone number and that she'll still take a call from us. And we're probably going to need that. She has been a guide and a mentor to every single one of us here at the system office. So not only a hole in your hearts, but a extremely big hole will be left in the office here. So Sanja, thank you for everything.
Thank you. Thank you.
Have I missed anyone? Thank you all for those. Oh, excuse me.
Well, Emily, I just want to thank everybody. Not only the Regents, you've been easy to work with. I love each and every one of you, and I will miss you. And I've had the privilege and wonderful opportunity to work here with wonderful chancellors, wonderful staff, the presidents. I will have all of you in my prayers every day because y'all are on the front line and making all the decisions to help young people and adults change their lives. And that's the most important thing. And the board, I wish you would keep that in your mind every morning when you wake up, that somebody's life is being changed because you serve on this board. Some of you have not had the opportunity to hear a lot of the success stories, but I feel very blessed and honored to have been the board secretary And the Chancellor made that happen. When I came 21 years ago, I had no clue as to what I was to do here. And so, Mariah, I know you come with an empty plate, but right now, you're going to know what all this means before long. And I just thank all of you and appreciate all your kind words, and know that I'll be praying for you every day. And I just pray that the Lord will bless you in a mighty way, and this system in a mighty way, and help and make Tennessee a wonderful and great state because of the workforce development and the lives that are being changed because of this fine organization. So I thank you, and I appreciate the kind words and the sentiments. And Greg, next time I'm in Memphis, we're going to have a card game.
Perfect. Thank you, Sanja. Well, let's make it official. We have a motion and a second. Brian Lapps, would you do the honors and call the roll for me this time?
I would be honored to. Vice Chair Reynolds.
Aye.
Regent Apple.
Aye.
Regent Burdine.
Aye.
Regent Duckett.
Aye.
Regent George.
Aye.
Regent Gill.
Aye.
Regent Green.
Hartfield, aye.
Regent Hatch.
Aye.
Commissioner Hatcher.
Aye.
Regent Powers.
Aye.
Regent Reed.
Aye.
Regent Thompson.
Surprise!
I'm sorry, Commissioner Swin.
We need to hear.
Aye.
Regent Thompson.
Aye.
Regent Varley.
Unmute us. Oh, I can't.
Yes, you can. Just unplug.
Oh,
Regent Varley.
I said aye.
Okay,
Yes.
I'm sorry. Regent Womp.
Aye.
well, all right. If you
Regent
want to be on
White.
the speaker here.
It's my honor to make it unanimous.
Motion
Aye.
carries unanimously, Madam Vice Chair.
Are we done with the roll? Oh, we're done with the roll. Okay.
Yay!
Did we get it over the finish line, Brian? I know it was close.
It was just barely unanimously.
I don't know. Can you just unplug? Can we not hear it on yours?
It's supposed to come. Oh, I know
Okay.
what I gotta do.
Okay.
I know what I
Okay.
gotta do.
I'm hearing it.
No, devices. I gotta change the device settings though.
Bear with us.
That. That off. What am I doing?
Can we hear it on yours?
Yeah. Here.
It's so hard when we're all
Okay,
standing
yeah.
here watching
I
it.
Well, it should have speaker.
Here we go.
Okay, here we go.
All right. Okay.
All right.
All right. You want to go first?
On behalf of the senior staff, this is from us to you. Because you are always in our heart.
And from your board. This is from us. And we want you to open it if you don't mind. Oh.
Y'all are great at surprises.
Yeah, you should have seen me deleting emails. She reads my email, so every time somebody sent me one, I had to delete it so she couldn't see it.
I don't go in there unless I'm supposed to. What is this?
Well, you said you wouldn't forget us, so we're just making sure that you don't.
What is this? Oh, my TBR picture.
Your TBR charm, yeah. So, yeah.
It's a charm.
It's a charm for you to put on a necklace or a bracelet or whatever.
Well, how did
So-
y'all get that made? Did Matthew do that?
It was a team effort.
So, can everybody, where's the camera here? Show it to them. It's our logo, you guys. It even has the little Tennessee on the T.
Whoops, I dropped it.
That's all right.
14 karat gold. It's a nice weight and very versatile.
Can you see it?
Yes. And it was made by a local jeweler who did great work for us.
Oh,
but that's from your board. Just a small expression of how much we love you.
Everybody, this is a big hug to y'all.
All right, friend.
Open the other one real quick.
Okay.
I wish all of you could be here.
We do too.
Oh goodness, more things. Beautiful piece, I'm sure. Oh, some earrings. Beautiful.
Because you're our heart.
Oh, I get it now. I wondered. Oh.
Can you see the earrings? It's a beautiful heart. Earrings. Set up a pair of earrings. Well, thank you to all the senior staff. Appreciate it.
There's more in there.
There's one more.
There's more. Yes. I'll let you save the card, but do the bigger box.
Oh, and a necklace.
Oh, how fun.
Oh.
And I think that necklace will fit on the charm as well.
Yeah, that's what
I
we're
can
hoping.
put both on there.
Yeah.
I can put both on
Yeah, or interchange. Yeah. Oh, more hearts. Oh.
Can you see? I don't know if y'all can see. We'll take pictures and send them.
Oh.
Beautiful. Thank y'all very, very much.
Thank you.
I appreciate that so much.
And for somebody who knows everything, we pulled off a surprise.
Y'all did.
I
knew something was cooking, but because y'all just love surprises. Because I've been in on the surprises before.
So
thank y'all very, very much.
Thank
Y'all
you.
made it very special.
Thank you. All right, let's get back to work. One more thing to do.
Yeah. Pass the pen over to her.
All right, everybody, we'll be right back. Here we go.
Mariah was with me yesterday and Wednesday and yesterday, so she's thoroughly baptized. We didn't just sprinkle her, we dunked her. And so she is eager and ready to go. And I will do my best to train her and help her as much as I can. And always know that y'all are in my hearts and prayers. And if ever I can do anything for you or your families to pray for you, I'll be glad to do that. So all of you have my cell phone numbers, so don't be a stranger. And I love you. And I'm going to turn the camera off now.
Okay.
We love y'all very, very much for the beautiful gift, and it'll always be close to me. So thank you.
Thank you. Oh, we love you more. Thank you, Sanja. Chancellor, we have one more item of business to conduct this morning, and that is the election of our board secretary. So I will call on you for our hiring.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I'm going to preface this with that the next person that is elected board secretary has to agree to another 25 years with us. So let's just put that up front. Mariah Hughes Perry joined our system office staff as our new secretary effective Wednesday, September 22nd. Mariah went through a search process led by a search committee of board members and central office staff. Her references spoke extremely highly about her skills, her enthusiasm, and her friendliness, characteristics that were all evident during her interviews with us. Mariah comes to us from the Tennessee Department of Treasury, where I did call and ask permission prior to hiring her officially. She has served there since May 2016, and most of that time as the Executive Administrative Assistant to State Treasurer David Lillard in the state capitol. Her career at the Department of Treasury began with 1 year of service as a service counselor and college savings specialist in the Tennessee Stars College Savings and Best Prepared Tuition programs, which are administered by the Treasury Department. She earned her Bachelor of Science and Master's of Arts degrees, both in Communication Arts at Austin Peay State University, and is nearing completion of her work on a PhD in Learning and Leadership at the University of Tennessee at Chattanooga. She is a certified administrative professional and is a member of several professional organizations. Madam Chair, pending any questions, I highly recommend that the board elect Mariah Hughes Perry as our next board secretary.
Any questions for the Chancellor? If not, I would certainly add my strong endorsement to the Chancellor's words. It was a privilege to serve on this search. We had a number of highly qualified applicants, but to everything the Chancellor said, Mariah certainly distinguished herself throughout this process, and we believe she will be an outstanding addition. Regent Green, I'd like to call on you to offer a motion to approve appointing Mariah as our board secretary and to see if you have any comments, and thanks for giving your time on this search as well.
Absolutely. I echo everything that you said, Emily, about Mariah. We are just so ecstatic that you are excited to join us. And as you see that Sanja has a lot of big shoes, so we won't put all of that on you right now. But to know that you've got a great, great leader to be able to show you those next steps, we are excited to have you on board. And I'm just overwhelmed with emotion right now, but I am ecstatic to be able to call for a motion to accept you on board, Secretary.
Thank you, Regent Green. May we have a second?
Second, Apple.
Thank you. Thank you both very much. Any further discussion? Hearing none, it is a privilege to ask Brian Lapps to conduct the roll call vote to appoint Mariah Perry as our next board secretary.
Certainly, Vice Chair Reynolds. Just for clarification on the record, the effective date is October 1.
Sorry, thank you. October 1, please, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Regent Apple?
Aye.
Regent Burdine?
Aye.
Regent Duckett?
Aye.
Regent George?
Aye.
Regent Giddle?
Aye.
Regent Green?
Aye.
Regent Hatch?
Aye.
Commissioner Hatcher?
Aye.
Regent Powers?
Aye.
Regent Reed?
Aye.
Vice Chair Reynolds?
Aye.
Commissioner Schwinn?
Aye.
Regent Thompson?
Aye.
Regent Varlin?
Aye.
Regent Womp?
Aye.
And Regent White?
Aye.
The motion carries unanimously.
Thank you. Well, Mariah, once again, welcome. The next 21 years will go so quickly. Sanja can attest to that. And we look forward to working with you. I know you made a couple of brief comments yesterday, but please, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Vice Chair Reynolds. I do have a few words. I would like to thank you, the members of the board, Chancellor Tidings. I will say it's an absolute honor to join as board secretary and to have the opportunity to work with you to provide support for this board. I will say I'm very aware that I have some very big shoes to fill. Sanja has been an amazing teacher over the last couple of days. She greeted me with the warmth, care, and concern. As soon as I walked in the door, I was greeted with a hug. So I do know that I have those big shoes to fill, but I do plan to take it one step at a time because I do want to allow for a smooth transition so that standard of excellence that you have become so accustomed to can continue. So I do thank you for your time, and I do look forward to working with you.
Thank you. Likewise, we look forward to working with you. Congratulations. Well, everybody, that brings today's meeting to a close. Our next meeting, as we discussed earlier this morning, will be Thursday, December 9. As Regent George said, we will hope we can be optimistic on the possibility of being together. But as the wise counsel we received from Regents Duckett and Varlin, we will continue to monitor the situation and stay in touch, and give Regent Gill ample opportunity to get to the barber shop if need be. So Thursday, December.
I assure you that's in your best interest.
Yes, sir. Okay. Chancellor, do you have any closing comments?
Again, thank you all for a great meeting. And as I kind of hinted to yesterday, stay tuned to the news reports on Tuesday.
Okay, very good. Very good. Anyone have any other business for the board? Hearing none, once again, to Sanja, to this incredible team, Carol Tomlinson, Michael Boatman, everyone that plays a role in pulling our meetings together. We are extremely grateful. I hope everybody has a lovely fall weekend. And with that, if there is no further business to come before this board and no objection, we stand adjourned. Thank you all.